Rock and roll daddy. Hey Bob Squad, thanks for joining me. Hardest part of the ring. What do you say? What do you know? Tip the veal, try the waitress. What are we doing this time, daddy? We're doing the thing we do all the time, baby doll. We are rock and rolling, strutting, strolling, slamming, jamming, moving, grooving, clanging, banging, living the edge of a lightning ball, daddy. Talking about July 13th, Monday 2026. WWE Monday Night Raw on Netflix, the popular streaming service. I'll send you a link to that if you're not familiar with it. Let's talk about some wrestling, or let's talk about people talking about wrestling. We start the program for you Canadian viewers. The program, Seth Rollins is walking, and they don't see him for 2 hours and 40 minutes. Seth Rollins is walking. Io Sky is also walking. Shortly, she'll be pointing at her head, but she's not doing that yet. And the Vision are also walking. Everybody is walking. They're having a grand old time walking around. They're getting our steps in this week at Monday Night Raw. Brock Lesnar enters with Paul Heyman, and the police. The police are with him. So every little thing Paul Heyman does is magic, and he sends us a message in a bottle. But don't worry, he doesn't have to put on the red light for very long because he calls Oba Femi a stalker ex-girlfriend, and they're hammering home that talk shit get hit merchandise, which is kind of silly because you know, like the fattest idiots are going to be wearing that, and then someone's going to say, "Yeah, talk some because you're so tough," and then they're not, and everyone's going to look dumb. But whatever, sell your shirts. And then there's supposed to be restraining orders against Oba Femi, according to Paul Heyman. And he told Brock Lesnar, Paul Heyman did, pronouns Bob, that there's a restraining order on Brock Lesnar as well. So Oba Femi's music interrupts this, and then Oba Femi beats up the police. He choke slams the police. He does the big power bomb to Sting and the other guys. Not Sting from the police, Sting from wrestling. No, Sting from wrestling was not there. But showtime was not over yet. So Oba Femi just allegedly assaulted 5 police officers who, this is how you know, and I'm going to revisit this later, this is how you know this is, excuse my French, baloney. Baloney. I said it. Hopefully YouTube doesn't take the video down and demonetize my channel. They'd have to monetize it first, but then they would monetize it just to demonetize it. This is a classic case, and this is what everyone, I think a lot of long-term time wrestling fans have grown sick of, is usually the security guards are all clearly wrestling students taking perfect bumps and making exaggerated faces and waving their arms, not doing anything. But it's even sillier, before they even get to the physical part, what group of police officers is turning around and facing a certain direction and waiting for Paul Heyman's instruction to attack someone? No group of police officers is doing this. And for my non-American listeners, in America the police do whatever they want and they just shoot people when they feel like. So yeah, right away the fact that police are taking orders from Paul Heyman is bizarre and ridiculous. He's not even a billionaire. Very strange. So they're acting like fake wrestling security guards, the fake wrestling police are. But anyway, Oba tosses them. And what group of police would think to gather alongside the ring apron, the hardest part of the ring, and have a body dumped onto them to catch? Like, it's just like, you're shoving it in our faces. I don't like it. Anyway, they go to a break, and then they show us a package on the Shield, the group that lasted a year and a half, which had an amazing run. I'm not even knocking the Shield. They had an amazing year and a half 15 years ago, and we're still talking about it forever. And we'll never stop talking about the stupid Shield. And one guy they can barely show because he's off somewhere losing jiu-jitsu contests to the new manager at the Arco station or whatever the hell he's doing. Anyway, Io Sky enters and points at her brain because she's the genius of the sky. And this is where my brain is. It's in here, my brain. They take a break. Goodbye, DoorDash. And Io Sky is now in a wrestling match against Roxanne Perez. Of course, Io Sky will wrestle Liv Morgan at the SummerSlam. And yes, if you're a Bret Hart fan, pink and black, you call it the SummerSlam. All right? At one point, Io Sky delivers a body slam to Roxanne Perez on the ring apron, which is the hardest part of the ring. And eventually, Io rolls up Perez 1, 2, 3 and puts her butt on Roxanne's face. You can make whatever remark you want to make. But the heels are beating down Io Sky And Sol Ruka shows up to be the sole friend of Io Sky. And Sol Ruka does a move to somebody, I forget what, and then she gets beat up. Raquel Rodriguez gives her a power bomb into the, not the ring post anymore, but that big square ring LED something something blah blah blah. Drops her like a sack of potatoes. We'll talk about potatoes again later. And so the three heels eventually beat down the two good guys, and Liv Morgan does her finish on Io Sky to get us all hyped up for the SummerSlam, which is still have a few weeks to go, so I don't know what they'll do in the coming weeks, but be that as it may, that notwithstanding, all things considered, nevertheless, irregardless, the Vision enters, and they got Maxine, and they won their championships back last week from the Street Profits, who were nowhere on this show, by the way. So that's peculiar. They make fun of nobody yet. I think they just kind of gloat. And then Otis and Tozawa show up like sad puppy dogs. And Tozawa's almost crying like a little baby. And like, I know that they're underneath guys, but aren't they supposed to be wrestlers in the WWE too? I don't know. They got them acting like children, like heartbroken, puppy love, sick, whatever. We'll get to that. So Otis starts giving a speech as if he's got feelings for Maxine, and they're making him the friend zone guy. And I'm like, God, don't neuter him anymore. He's a beastie. He looks like he could squash, not wrestling squash, but like squash all these other guys. But God, that they make him a buffoon. I don't know. Maybe we'll get something out of this, but Otis starts beating the bad guys up, which is fun. The people went for it. I put a note here because this bothered me. Should Braun Breaker be selling like that for Otis? Braun Breaker is stumbling and staggering, and yeah, he should register because Otis is a big some bitch. But should Braun Breaker be... Braun Breaker was selling for Otis the same way Austin Theory was. Braun Breaker was selling like a chicken shit heel, and he's not a chicken shit heel. So I don't know, that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I thought something should have happened to bump Braun out of the ring, and Braun could sell the ring apron hardest part of the ring, or the floor, or the barricades, or the table, something to hit, and he can sell the thing he hit, instead of him just kind of just chicken shit bumping around for Otis. It didn't suit me well. I thought it lowered Braun's stock. I mean, it wasn't a big to-do, it wasn't the big point of the segment, but still. Maxine stops Otis from doing something to Austin Theory and almost kisses Otis and teases him, and then Austin Theory punches Otis in the testicles. I thought Maxine was going to do it, or just should have done it, because she was the one who did the low blow to Dawkins a week ago, so I don't know, I'm nitpicking here, but that's what we do. We're wrestling fans. Anyway, we go to break as the Vision was standing over the good guys. So we have two segments in a row where the heel group is standing over the good guys. They slightly outnumbered. Just two segments in a row where they did that. Just saying. We go to a commercial break, eat Pizza Hut, and Royce Keys is wrestling Jimmy Uso out of nowhere, and I guess the match was made over a commercial. So they did a double screen, a picture-over-picture thing, and picture-in-picture, I guess, and with Adam Pearce is yelling during a commercial break, if you want to fight right now, here's a match, here's a referee, la 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 la. But that's being played over the match we're seeing, and it seemed like Adam Pearce was yelling over the live match, which he wasn't. It was disorienting, but whatever. Thing about Royce Keys, never, if you're a big, powerful baby face, don't wear white boots, ever. Because people will see you as just corny. Like remember, like debut in '96, Mark Henry and Rocky Maivia, like 2 months after Mark Henry actually, both from white boots. Just like, yeah, doesn't look good, doesn't look right. I'm not talking white sneakers, like Jimmy Uso had the high tops. I'm like, something about big white boots when you're a big, new, powerful, good guy. And yeah, don't do that. I don't like it. Knock it off with the white boots. Anyway. What did I write? Brie Bella's not on this. I don't even know what I wrote. Oh, break? That's what I wrote. More Pizza Hut and Wingstop. And so eat those things. And they come having a match. Jacob Fatu. He arrives in a black motor vehicle, and he's in a garage, and he sees on a television screen that is in the garage playing for nobody that his brother or cousin or whatever, Jimmy, is wrestling Royce Keys, and he is a friend of Royce Keys as well. So he runs to the ring, and Jacob Fatu causes a big Jacob DQ on the match. So I guess Jimmy gets disqualified. So yeah, Jacob Fatu is beating up Royce Keys, and Solo shows up with a microphone, and he's yelling at Jacob DQ and all these guys, and they have some kind of argument. And Solo agrees to join the bloodline. He put their fingers in the air and wave them like they do care. Solo changes his mind, gives a spike to Jimmy, so it looks like Solo's healing on Jimmy. But so Jacob DQ was gonna put he starts fighting back on Solo, and he's gonna smash Solo's head, or yeah, I think he had a Tongan death grip. There was a lot of back and forth bloodline arguing, and I can't keep track of the sides, and I have no idea who's good and bad. I have no idea. But there was a Tongan death grip, and LaKnight shows up, and they all pop because LaKnight is coming, and they like him, and they know who to cheer for, finally. So one of the guys, they like Jacob DQ, but one of the guys they're allowed to like. So they're like, okay, LaKnight, we will like you at the behest of this company. LaKnight has a folding chair. Instead of sitting on it, he uses it as a weapon in pro wrestling. He hits Jacob DQ a couple of times, and that sets up a 6-man tag at the SummerSlam, where the LaKnight and La Solo and La Keys with white boots wrestle Jimmy Uso, Jacob DQ, and probably Jay Uso too. Okay. What are we doing? Division is backstage, and Paul Heyman claps at them. And then he's giving them praise, but then he tells them, then what do you need me for? And he storms off. I don't know what his issue is there. What was his face? Logan Paul with the injury. He was a good mouthpiece for a group. Like he's got the clear arm thing, so he's got the excuse to why he can't get physical. But he's a great shit stirrer and instigator. So I kind of saw the point. I'm like, should this be Logan Paul's group? He's the most famous guy, and you could see down the road the old classic wrestling. Braun will get tired of taking orders from Logan Paul, and then they could do Braun and Logan. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there, but I'm just saying, just throwing it out there more. Could that just be Logan Paul's group then? I mean, the hell with it, right? I don't know. So this is what I want to get back to. Adam Pearce is bald again, and he's backstage, and he tells Obafemi in the business casual, like, hey, was Oba in business casual again today? I forgot. Actually, I don't remember if he was in gear or not. But tells Obafemi, yeah, Paul Heyman's restraining orders were phony, and the police were phony. It was all a ruse or whatever. I forget what the exact word he says, but none of that was really said. Those weren't really police, and that wasn't really restraining order. That's just Paul Heyman playing mind games. So that's interesting. And first of all, I like the fact that they just called it out on show. Like, yes, those were not. We are telling you in the show, in the story of the show, we're not even trying to pretend those are real police. Like, okay, that's fine. Call me crazy. Thank you. What if? It felt to me like maybe someone called an audible during a show and said, this is too far with the fakeness and the phoniness of these fake police. No one believes it. Can we just say real quick, we're telling you those weren't cops? And then we just move away from it? And maybe not do that ever again, or at least a hell of a lot less. I'm wondering if that was a last minute, shove that in there, do it live. I don't know if that was live or not. It looked live, you know. I'm just saying. That struck me as, did that just come across as so fake? With these cops are all 22 taking perfect bumps. Stop it. With goofy haircuts, all of them. In America, for your non-American viewers, cops are really fat. That's why they shoot people right away. They're in terrible shape. Bailey is, this is where we talk about potatoes. Bailey's there, and she's mad at the bird lady. And bird lady comes out in a potato sack. I'm not kidding. She's wearing a potato sack. And she's got weird makeup, like she's been awake, like just been doing meth for 3 days, like just because she turned on Bailey 2 weeks ago. Has it bothered you that much? Like you didn't get any sleep in 14 days because you had a feud with Bailey? who you were teaming with but already feuded with before or something? Was it that big of a deal? Did it ruin your life? Shouldn't you be happy you turned on Bailey? It was your idea. And I'm sorry, I'm sweating. Oh, I tell you. Working hard up here. It's hot in here, guys, and so are the lights. Oh, my lighting's not even good. Imagine my lighting was good. I'd be 5 pounds lighter. Anyway, Bird Lady's in a potato sack, and she eventually agrees to wrestle the Bailey lady at the Saturday night's main event at Madison Square Garden. And they brawl for a bit, and I think Bailey hits a few moves on Bird Lady, and Bird Lady gets on out of there. So we got 2 things of note left. The gauntlet match. 7 guys wrestle. They wrestle 2 at a time, and when one guy loses, another guy comes out. So really, this is a luck of the draw situation. Anyway, we start off Dominic, Mysterio, and Joe Hendry wrestle. And there's some distraction from Judgment Day McDonough. And Dominic pins Joe Hendry with the big splash. Javon Evans enters, and the people are loving this dude. He's going back and forth with Dominic. JD's interfering again. The referee's about to kick out JD. Danhausen's music hits, and he comes out in a coffin car, and everyone goes nuts, and they love him. I love him. And it causes a distraction. And so Danhausen tries to do the gimmick where he makes one of the posts have fireworks come up the guy's butt. But it happens at the wrong post, so instead Danhausen's like, ah, shit. And he pulls out like a t-shirt gun or something. So when Judgment Day McDonough runs up the ramp to Danhausen, because those 2, Judgment Day McDonough and Danhausen, are going to wrestle in Madison Square Garden, Judgment Day stops and puts his hands up because he doesn't want to get shot by the t-shirt gun or whatever the hell it was. But anyway, this distraction causes Dominic to get hit with the Og Cutter from Javon Evans. Because Javon is the young Og. That's what it said on the screen there. So, anyway, Og Cutter, 1, 2, 3. And Dragonly enters, and he has a back and forth match with the young Og. And there was something with it. Dragonly went for the tomato DDT, and he couldn't get it. They tried it a few times. It was a bit of a stop and go. And I don't know, they ended up doing it anyway. And they had a great physical thing, and they showed some fire with Javon here. He was almost starting to get pissed, which is great, and he's jumping off things aggressively at Dragonly. And people are really getting into Javon. He's already beat Dominic, and they're really excited. I felt that people were pulling for Javon to go all the way in this thing, and we'll get to that in a second. So Javon eventually rolls up Dragonly for the 1, 2, 3. And so there's still 3 guys left, and this Rusev comes out to wrestle Javon. And now Javon's fought 2 guys, and he's already half the size of Rusev, so he's the ultimate underdog. So Javon could theoretically just get beat by Rusev's finish and have an out here, and that would be no biggie. But Rusev puts on the accolade, and the first time, it's camel clutch, the first time Javon fights to grab that rope, you heard the people come up. You can hear him coming up and go, we want him to fight. And then there was another time, Rusev hits the accolade, and Jay Evans actually stood up with him. This little guy stood up with him, took the back bump with him, and people are losing, Javon's going to do it. Javon starts hulking up. Eventually he does get hit with the accolade again and just passes out. He never taps. He goes down. And beating 2 guys before that is already more than enough of an out, but to have all that fight to show that this kid will not stop fighting, that's a babyface. That's how you do an underdog babyface. Not Tozawa and not Otis. Javon is an underdog babyface. The other guys are underneath goofs. That's the difference. Okay. Chad Gable runs out to wrestle Rusev, and remember, Ethan Page is going to come out and wrestle the winner of this. Gable and Rusev have fun back and forth. Nothing to really write home about. What a boring letter that would be. German suplex into the turnbuckle from Gable onto Rusev, and eventually Chad Gable hits a victory roll for the 1, 2, 3, which makes sense. He got a victory with it. That's why it's called that. Ethan Page comes out to wrestle Gable, and they go back and forth for a bit, and Gable makes Ethan tap out, and it'll be Gable versus Penta at the SummerSlam. Okay? So Chad Gable wins that, and then they clap, because Gable's music makes you clap. So they clapped. Okay. And there's a commercial break. Roman Reigns gets out of another black vehicle. Cool. And then the commercial break. Adam Pearce is bald, but he's in the ring, and we're at a table. We're doing a contract signing, I should mention, for Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins at the SummerSlam. They are in Dallas because Roman wants Dallas to acknowledge him. Seth Rollins enters, milks the song. This has taken 4 days, and it takes 4 or 5 days longer. They chant OTC, they sing the stupid song, they chant what? Everything Roman says, which means they're not as invested as they used to be in this. They're just doing the what now. They're not taking it. It doesn't mean as much anymore. Seth hits the old show up for work line, and then Seth walks away. They both signed the thing. Roman says something about, are you going to get hurt again when you win the title? If you do win it, you'll get hurt again. And Seth walks back. And Roman is the arrogant heel, and he's making all these valid points. It's very WWE. But anyway, Roman Reigns says something about your work daddy Triple H, which is supposed to get under Seth's skin. And Seth gives him, is that all you got? Which is kind of lazy promo. Is that all you got? When he just like roasted you brilliantly for like 3 minutes. Yeah, that's all he's got, and it's like a lot. You're an idiot. Seth eventually punches him and just beats him down and just wins the brawl. It wasn't even a sucker, but which is good. I liked it. It was not something I thought they would do, but it just makes the babyface just not walking away. It just makes them. They're men. They want to fight, and it heightened Seth, I think, without Roman losing anything. But of course, they had to do way too much. And then they just start doing spots. Seth goes for the stomp. Roman cuts it off with the Superman punch. That's what I wrote down here. Roman wants to powerbomb Seth through a table, but instead Seth had the microphone in his crotch. I'm kind of kidding. And he bonks it over Roman's head. And then he does the stomp to Roman. And he stands over Roman. And this took 14 days. They've been pretty good at ending it like 2 hours and 2.5 hours, 2 hours 25 or something like that. I think they easily went 2:45, if not longer, on this Mamma Jamma. As I was Chloe growling, she was also upset at how long it went because she had to wait for her walk, but she had a great walk. She did all her business. She smelled the world. Chloe's doing great. So was Odie. They went to the park today. They had a great time. That is the hardest part of the Ring, You Wild Animals. If you are in San Diego, stand-up comedy day. I'm in Menifee. Who cares? An hour north of here on Tuesday the 14th at Lady Bistro. Follow my Instagram at Bob Hansen Jokes. They're all there. San Diego, North Park. I'm in a basement Saturday night at a church basement. I'm not kidding. This Saturday, so check that out. And what else got going on? Charlotte, North Carolina, late in August with Zoltan. Check that out. Fort Lauderdale coming in the middle of September as well. Okay, hardest part of the ring. Never stop rocking. I'll see you in a few more weeks, and join me on the road to the SummerSlam.